We have all been there. It's been a hot day and we take our shoes off and our feet is sweaty, and with that comes the stink. So in this video, I'm going to teach you some of the things that you can do at home to reduce the sweaty feet that you may have. Or if you have a partner or a friend or a sibling or a parent and they are just stinking up the joint, you can tell them these tips. Stick with me. Okay, the first tip, which everyone should be doing already, is wash your feet. Wash it with soap and water, okay? It is not hard, guys. You want to also wash it with an antibacterial soap. The reason is antibacterial soap will help to kill some of the bacteria that's already on our skin and causing odors. So make sure you wash your feet, wash between your toes, and after you're done, make sure you dry them thoroughly. You don't want to leave water in there. It's just gonna sit there and fester, and it's a great nidus for infection, fungal infection, bacterial infection, sweat, smells, and all of those unsightly, ungodly smells. So make sure you wash your feet with soap and water and dry between your toes. The next tip is applying an antiperspirant. Well, this may go without saying. You're sweating, so apply an antiperspirant to the area that may be causing sweat. It's important to know that every square inch of our feet or of each foot has about 600 to 700 sweat glands. So in an entire foot, you can have about 250,000 sweat glands. That's a lot of sweat gland, guys. So it's important for you to apply antiperspirant. Now, how do you apply it? The American Academy of Dermatology recommends that you apply it every night for about 3 to 4 nights. And in the morning, you take your shower and you wash it off. After that, you apply it once a week. The idea is that it will at least reduce the amount of sweat that you will produce. I do know that some people definitely apply it every night, and that's fine, but based on what research has shown, this is their recommendation. So that's something you can definitely apply. You can either use the roll-on or the spray, as long as it's just not a deodorant but an antiperspirant. Another great tip is soaking your foot with black tea. Now, black tea has something called tannins in them, and those tannins will really help to close the pore and reduce sweating. And so soaking your foot in black tea, you boil 2 tea bags and then you dilute it with about 2 to 3 cups, and you soak your foot for about 20 minutes, and that will help the tannins to be absorbed into your skin, which will then close your pores and thereby stop and reduce sweating. Do this about once or twice a week and see if there is an improvement. Let me know down in the comments if you do it, and let me know what you think about this tip. So we've talked about how sweat is a great nidus for infectious or microbacteria to grow. One of the things you can actually do is to apply a fungal foot powder or just a foot powder. Some anecdotal advice from our grandmas or some people that swear by it is actually applying cornstarch. The goal of that is that it will absorb the fluid in your foot and then thereby keep away that moisture buildup that will just cause sweaty feet. A fungal foot powder does something similar. One of the most favorite one I like is dry salt. You just apply it within your foot, between your toes, and it'll keep things nice and dry. Try it out and let me know. I'm especially interested if you are going to try cornstarch. That's something I really want to know. Let me know what you think about it. Is this real? Did it really help to keep your feet dry? Let me know down in the comments below. Another good tip is changing shoes and socks frequently. So if you are someone who sweats a lot, imagine that your socks is going to sit here and absorb all of that fluid. And so if it sits there, the further it sits, the more smelly it gets, and it's just a unending cycle. So if you know that you sweat a lot, just take an extra pair of socks. That way, by midday, you change your socks, you take your shoes out, you can wash your feet, you can take one of these wipes, clean your feet, clean between your toes, and then wear a new pair of socks. That way you're just not sitting in moisture that'll just cause more heat and then cause more sweating. And of course, like we said, changing your shoes frequently. So even if you have only 2 pairs of shoes, each day change it. What that'll do is to help the shoe get a chance to dry out completely. If it's dry outside, put it outside. It'll actually help dry it out some more. If not, just put it in a well-ventilated area and change it so that you're just not sitting there in a moisture-filled shoe that would just encourage even more moisture and then just encourage infections, smells, and all of those things we do not like. For fast relief, if you're out and about and you just really need a quick fix, rubbing alcohol is actually a good thing, or is actually something that'll help you in the short run. And you just apply, rub it between your toes, rub it throughout the entire feet. Now, it is imperative that you understand that rubbing alcohol could dry out your skin, so you don't want to do this frequently. You do this when you're in a pinch. If you're wearing some shoes that are just going to encourage sweat, you could definitely do these. Now, picking up off of what we had talked about with changing your shoes frequently, the types of shoes that you may be wearing also will matter. Make sure that you're not wearing plastic shoes that'll just trap heat. Even though you're not a sweaty person, if you're in an area or putting your shoes in an area that will trap heat, then it is also notable that you're going to sweat a lot. So plastic shoes are usually a no-go. So especially if you have sweaty feet, to stay away from them. A well-ventilated shoe with cotton will definitely help. Leather is okay as well because it is breathable. Pleather, on the other hand, can't really say much about that. If you have to wear pleather, just make sure that you're following or doing some of the other things that we've talked about today. What type of socks would you be wearing? It's also important to know that not only do we want to wear the right type of shoes, we also want to wear the right type of socks. So of course, cotton is good, wool in the winter time when it's nice and cold, cotton is breathable. And there are also some synthetic materials that are actually moisture wicking and that these companies make. So make sure that when you're purchasing these socks, look at the description and what they're used for. It might be something that will really work for you, and it'll be moisture wicking and it'll be great. Of course, you want to stay away from like nylon and things like that because it don't absorb the moisture, and so it just sits there and is sweaty and stinky and yucky. Drinking lots of water. So it is important that you stay hydrated, especially on hot days. And so when it's hot outside or you're just in a hot environment, your body's way of regulating its temperature is by producing increased amount of sweat. So the sweat cools down the body and your body doesn't overheat and other adverse effects don't occur. But if you want to avoid this, try to drink as much water as possible. It will reduce your sweating, and it also reduces sweating your foot, and thereby just reduce the stinky mess that you may have going on if you're out and about on a hot day. Of course, as a podiatrist, this is something that I really love. The American College of Podiatric Medicine advises or actually recommends a treatment called Iontophoresis. And what it does is it passes electrical currents through the skin of the foot to temporarily block the sweat glands in the foot. So it's something that could actually help to block it, and it's using electrical current, so it's going through the microcellular level to try to stop the sweat glands from producing excessive sweat. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely leave a comment down below. If you've done that before, or you've heard of it, or you've never even heard of it, let me know down below. You can even hit me out on Instagram. We can talk more about it. So that's something that I think is really interesting. I don't hear a lot about. It's temporary, it's not permanent, but it'll definitely give you a reduced effect of sweating on your foot. And last but not least is Botox. Yes, I know, Botox. And so Botox is a botulinum toxin that just paralyzes the muscle, and we use it on our faces and things like that. Now, an off-label use of Botox is for sweaty feet, sweaty hands, and sweaty underarms. And so yes, for the feet as well, we can definitely inject some Botox in there, and that will definitely reduce hyperhidrosis, which is excessive sweating. Of course, you may need to do it twice a year, but for twice a year to have that amount of long-lasting effect, or maybe even 3 times a year, I think that's a steal. It is so worth it. If that's something you're interested in, again, definitely hit me up on my DMs on the Fly for Doctor at Instagram, and let's talk more about it, or even leave a comment down below if you've done Botox in your feet before for sweatiness. I have a tip for you. If you want to know if you just have regular sweaty feet or you have hyperhidrosis, which is excessively sweaty feet, you may be able to do this, but usually a doctor will do this in their office. What it is an iodine solution is applied to your feet. Once it's completely soaked in, cornstarch will then be applied to the bottom of your foot as well. Now, If that turns dark blue, then you do have excessive sweaty feet. So the goal is you want the iodine to completely absorb into your foot before applying the cornstarch, because of course if you just apply cornstarch directly on iodine, it is going to turn. But that's a little tip. If you do have excessively sweaty feet, what are you going to do from some of the tips that we've talked about? Leave it down in the comment below. I would really love to know. And if you've tried any of these, did it work for you? Did it not work for you? You know, again, some that may work for person A may not work for person B. So I would really like to hear about it. Now, if you have enjoyed watching my video, would you consider subscribing to my channel? Also, please leave a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And leave a comment down below. Like, share this video with people who may definitely need it. Again, it's a Fly Foot Doctor. I'm a foot and ankle doctor, surgeon, mom, and I love fashion, health, and everything that gives me life. Till next time, it was a pleasure speaking with you guys again. Bye.